Welcome to bonus episode 2 of Review Rewind Star Wars Summer. This is the podcast where two friends watch movies of old and ask, were they good? I'm Mike.
And I'm Joseph.
And continuing on our journey, we're talking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I'm great. How about you, Mike?
I'm good. You know, if this was a high-quality podcast, that would have been, like, that moment right before that would have been where we added a commercial or something.
If only.
If
only anyone would want to sponsor this.
I know. Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean
now I'm
that.
sad.
Was so personal. Not my intention.
Alrighty. This movie...
They will want to sponsor it, by the way, after they hear this episode.
Debatable. This movie is rated PG for sci-fi action violence. It is fantasy adventure sci-fi action. Directed by George Lucas, written by George Lucas and Jonathan Hales. Have you heard of Jonathan Hales?
No.
No. As I was researching this, I was stunned by Jonathan Hales' resume.
Yeah?
Do you know... I know you haven't heard of him, but do you want to gather a guess of what his written works were, like what he did prior to Star Wars Episode 2, one of the biggest grossing movies of all time?
Okay. Let's see. We're talking about 2002. I'm guessing, was it kind of recent history if we're in 2002?
No. He would have done them in the 90s. I'll give you that one.
Okay. You said them. So that's a big giveaway.
Yeah. It was a series.
My first guess is Jurassic Park, just out of the blue.
That is horribly wrong.
Okay. Well,
horribly wrong.
Told you I didn't know. My other guess would be, I think Indiana Jones is more 80s and into 90s, is it?
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
You're warmer.
Okay. The Mummy.
Well, there's a tie-in later for that.
Oh.
Young Indiana Jones. He wrote all the Young Indiana Jones series. Do you know what
I don't even know. I've never even heard of
Young
that.
Indiana Jones, the movies, from my recollection, were a bunch of straight to VHS movies of like a teenage Indiana Jones.
What?
Yeah.
I've straight up never heard of this.
Yeah, it was something that I saw at the video store when I was young. Nothing that I ever invested any time in, because if you think of like a cheap movie that's like streaming nowadays, this
Star Wars
like,
Episode 2?
This felt like the epitome of that for the 90s.
Wow.
Like you saw the VHS and it was like, oh, this art's kind of, oh no. And then, so now I want to look it up because it honestly, when I saw his name, I was like, oh, George Lucas wasn't the only one who wrote this.
Right.
So he has some, there's some blame to share. You know, like, he's not the only one. We can't just look at George and go, what was that?
Right.
What was that? We can look at both of them. And so it started in 1992 with a TV series called The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which moved on to a bunch of straight to DVD or TV movies, which for you young people, they used to make movies straight for the TV.
Oh, they still
would only
do that.
show. Yeah, but YouTube is its own thing.
Now it's just like straight to a streaming service. It's not straight to like
but
a TV channel.
That's a little different because you could only watch this movie with commercials built into it.
True.
Like they edited
That's
it
funny. I've never thought of that. It's like straight up an ad-supported
commercial.
movie.
Yeah, exactly. So the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, they have a bunch of them, and it's just it's wild. It's crazy. I didn't care for it. Maybe there's a person in the audience who did. And then when I said that you were close with the Mummy,
Yeah.
Jonathan Hales actually wrote the story for the Scorpion King.
Come on, let's go.
So the worst
Mummy movie.
No, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie was pretty bad. But the campiest Mummy movie.
Yeah.
He wrote the story. He didn't write the screenplay, but he wrote the story. And it's just wild to me that this guy, like, he wrote a bunch of he wrote episodes, like he was a TV writer. He did a lot of TV stuff. And then he did The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, which actually I was just about to, this is such a side tangent. I'm so sorry. But I just wanted to see, so I'm on IMDb right now. I just wanted to see who produced this. George Lucas. Okay. George Lucas was executive producer. So that's where the connection is.
No way.
George Lucas
You're lying to me.
No, it's right there. I see it.
What?
So George Lucas executive produced. I don't know how to say that as an adverb.
Executively produced?
I guess. He did the first one. There are a bunch, but he did the first.
Dude.
All right, I'll go to the last one, which the last one was 2000. So like 8 years of these movies. Oh my gosh!
Wow, dude!
If he continued to produce up. Yep. Wow. So there is a connection, and Rick McCallum,
Yep.
who produces the Star Wars movies,
Yep.
also produced these young Indiana Jones movies.
So maybe they're all the same people.
Maybe they're better than I remember them. Well, actually, as we go into this conversation about Star Wars Episode 2, maybe it doesn't matter who's working on them.
Right.
It doesn't guarantee a good movie. But yeah, so I just thought that was wild that this movie, which we can get into, continue going on. Man, that was such a tangent.
Amazing.
This movie, written by George Lucas and The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, prolific writer Jonathan Hales. Release date May 16th, 2002. So when this publishes, it will just be a little over 20 years ago.
20 years, yeah. In fact, they have Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim coming up in May, which is like
or going back in May.
Yeah, sure.
This is the future. This is the future, Joseph.
Yeah. And they are having like a 20th anniversary celebration for Attack of the Clones and stuff.
Okay. That'll be interesting.
I don't know what they're celebrating, but
yeah. Runtime 2 hours and
23
too many minutes. Too many minutes. 20th Century Fox, which that's always like, I know Disney bought out Lucasfilm.
Yep.
It's just so wild to think that like this was a 20th century product for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Before it hit Disney. Now it's almost synonymous with Disney because more projects have come out through Disney than had previously come out. But it's wild to think that this was 20th Century Fox at that time.
Right.
Budget roughly around $115 million. It grossed in the U.S. and Canada $310 million, a little over $310.5 million, and grossed almost 54 million or 654 million, so almost $1 billion.
Yeah,
just a little short of $1 billion it grossed worldwide in U.S.
Yeah.
Why don't you read us the plot?
Yeah, absolutely. So, 10 years after the invasion of Naboo, the galaxy is on the brink of civil war. Under the leadership of a renegade Jedi named Count Dooku, thousands of solar systems threaten to break away from the Galactic Republic. When an assassination attempt is made on Senator Padme Amidala, the former queen of Naboo, 20-year-old Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker is assigned to protect her. In the course of his mission, Anakin discovers his love for Padme as well as his own darker side. Soon, Anakin, Padme, and Obi-Wan Kenobi are drawn into the heart of the Separatist movement and the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Dun, dun, dun!
Okay, as opposed to our episode on episode 1, I think this summary, I don't have too many problems with it.
I don't, except for the what is it? And it's such a small thing. Anakin discovers his love for Padme. Right off the bat, it's clear he loves her.
He's had feelings for a decade.
Infatuated.
Yeah.
So he didn't discover them. He came face to face with them.
Sure. That's true.
And they could have done some wording, but that, to me, that's just like, that's not in the story at all.
Right.
That's my only tiff. Like,
Sure.
I don't, all in all, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good summary.
We'll talk about this. This gets a little more into the detail. Of course, if you didn't listen to the first one, what are you doing? Go back and listen to our episode 1, our bonus episode 1 about episode 1. You'll get the background on Joseph, who does have a Star Wars podcast, though he talks about the shows, the Clone Wars specifically, right? Or was it Rebels?
It's mostly the Clone Wars, but there's some Rebels sprinkled in, yeah.
So that storyline is between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, right?
That's correct, yeah. There's about a 3-year gap between episodes 2 and 3, and it's filled with the whole, basically a galactic civil war before the galactic civil war that you know about in the original trilogy. So there's a ton of good stuff in there.
But with that being said, even though his podcast is about the show, Joseph is a big Star Wars fan. So we are going to get deep into the Hothian trenches. That they have trenches in Hoth. Like that's the only movie where they had trenches.
I mean, they dug them out.
That's still a trench.
They had trenches on Crate in episode 8.
Yeah, but we don't.
It's literally the same thing.
No one remembers that. Hoth is a solid reference. Bug off.
It's
anyway, what did you think of it? And I think this will be a good discussion. What do you think of the movie overall?
Loved it. I don't say that ironically. I say that as just a Star Wars fan. It is. I'll just say like blanket statement, and we can kind of pick it apart from there. Like, what I love about this movie most of all, unironically, is that even if the story is flawed and at times really corny, like really cheesy, looking at you, Padme and Anakin in the fields of Naboo. The story is cohesive. It fits perfectly between 1 and 3. And it is a fundamental part of this trilogy that, for all of the criticism that it justifiably gets, still tells a really cohesive story and sets the foundation for the themes that carry all the way, at least to episode 6. I think that's great.
I would argue that that cohesion comes with a lot of suspension of reality or suspension of belief, because there are a lot of moments in the movie where things that are moving the plot along, that are creating the story, like when you stop and you just think about it for a minute, you really go like, how did no one
Yes.
catch that? How do you, is everyone incompetent, or is that really a moment that person genuinely tricked them? But at the same time, I can see what you're saying, and I think I agree. If I was George Lucas's wife and I saw this movie and saw how the love relationship built between Anakin and Padme, I'd be very concerned. I'd be incredibly concerned because it is rubbish. It is so nothing is earned in that relationship at all.
No.
It is. It's creepy.
It is.
It's because he's 17, right?
He's about 20. He's 19, 20, somewhere in that range.
Well, what was the end of Phantom Menace?
He was
9.
Yeah.
So he's 19 because this is 10 years after.
Yeah.
So he's
19 to 20, yeah.
Yeah. So like he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
Absolutely.
And then this woman who's in her mid-20s, who was a queen in her teens, who had been essentially battling a hostile force on her planet for 10 years. And somehow they're supposed to build this relationship with each other.
To add on to that, too, you have Anakin on Tatooine trying to save his mom, slaughtering the entire Tusken tribe. And he goes back and he confesses that to Padme, and that's not apparently a red flag to her in the relationship.
Well, didn't she even say like that doesn't matter now? She says something that like brushes it off.
Let me see.
I remember that scene and her response to it. I was like, no, don't do that. That's bad.
He basically uses that moment where he is confessing to Padme very emotionally, of course. He uses that moment to blame Obi-Wan. For holding him back.
That too.
Yeah, and he doesn't necessarily own up to it. He doesn't.
Because he says,
or he owns up to it.
I
but
killed
he doesn't.
them all. I killed the men. I killed the women. I killed the children.
Right.
And
he's not remorseful, is what I'm trying to say.
And I think she like tries to change the subject, which, like, I think the subject should have maybe held on a little longer.
Sure.
Maybe that was her trying to diffuse the situation a little bit, but
yeah, it literally cuts from that scene to the funeral of his mom,
right?
And then the story goes from there.
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
The least cohesion that occurs is their character development and their choices.
Yes,
100%. I would say that is the thing that, like, while it moves the plot along, if you just stop and go, that doesn't make any sense, you're going to find that a lot. Where it's like, that didn't make any sense. That didn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Why would they do this? Et cetera, et cetera. Even his anger is a little forced. He just kind of gets angry out of nowhere. But it's like you don't see a nice build of it, or you don't really see it make sense in the scope of his character development. Because, like, in The Phantom Menace, when he is being interviewed by the council, he gets tested real good, and then they ask him something, and he says it with, like, some attitude. And for the scope of the rest of the movie, that attitude, that anger makes no sense at all.
Right.
And then you come to this movie, and right out the bat, he just like the moments he gets angry are just like, why are you doing that?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
are you why?
So angsty.
Yeah. We so whenever this one gets posted, we just finished Kristen and I had just finished the Twilight episode.
Yes.
And
I listened to that this morning.
one of the things we talked about is there's like a lot of forced angst.
Yeah.
And I think that's applicable here. Like there's a lot of forced angst. There's angst that isn't well deserved.
That's well put. Yeah.
And so it just kind of gets forced in there. So to go back and actually answer the question, there are moments that are great in this movie, and there are moments
There's a
that
ton
are
of them, honestly.
really bad.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to find that medium.
Yeah.
I think if someone else edited the movie, you might actually find a really, really good movie in there.
Well,
because it's
Go ahead. Sorry.
it's so swollen with George Lucas,
Sure.
like George Lucas's T-shirt. That's a mean joke. It's just because he tucks it in. I can't. But it's swollen. There's a lot of stuff going on visually. There is so much going on.
Yeah.
And I'd almost argue that the CGI got worse.
Yes. Agree.
Like there are some scenes where the CGI is like, whoa, guys.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Why'd you let that out? And
Yeah.
we were talking about it in like Phantom Menace. A lot of the CGI holds up
Yeah.
pretty darn
the pod
well.
racing especially.
Pod racing, the lightsaber battle, how they mixed the CGI with the practical effects was just phenomenal. You really only were a little burdened by the diffusion of live and CGI in certain shots. Not a lot, but certain shots. Even Jar Jar Binks wasn't terrible in some shots. Like he's not great, but there's still something that melds it together.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, some of the CGI is downright bad.
There's two places in particular. One is super short to its benefit, and it's Anakin riding to go get Shmi, and he's riding through like the twin sunsets in the same desert where he was pod racing, and the sky and the land is just like beet red, and it doesn't look real whatsoever.
Right.
Looks terrible.
Right.
And like
and
the shadows
that,
on him and stuff.
And considering that they've already done a bit in episode 1 and episode 4 where we've seen Tatooine pretty decently.
Absolutely.
Like, of those two movies, Tatooine takes up 50% of the setting.
Yeah.
And then
looks way better in episode 1.
In Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones, suddenly, like you said, it's just kind of like, this is really off.
It's all red, and then he's in the sunset, but there is no contrast on him. He is just dark. There's not like one side of him is lit up or anything like that. The other area where the CGI is too much, because literally the only thing that's not CGI in these scenes is the body of Obi-Wan Kenobi, is everything that happens on Kamino inside of the cloning facility, because you have Obi-Wan Kenobi walking through CGI hallways, interacting with CGI.
It's a whole green screen.
Kaminoans. It's all green screen, and the rooms in it's called Topeka City, but the rooms and the hallways it's all glass and metal. It's like I want to put on sunglasses watching those scenes. It is all glare, so bright.
And I would say too, the interaction between the beasts and the battle scene where they're rescuing.
Oh,
Obi-Wan.
on Geonosis.
Like there's points where they have live people trying to do some of the maneuvers and
That's
stuff.
right.
But like how they're getting keyed out how they're
Yeah.
getting like cut out or into the green screen. They
Yeah.
didn't
The
line it up
motion is
correctly.
wrong. Yeah, the motion and the gravity and the scale.
And you can even see like separation between the person and the background.
Right.
Like, and that's a keying error. Like that's
that's right.
an error between getting the colors on the person and separating them from the background. And they just didn't. I don't know. I guess they just missed it on that frame.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so crazy because it's just like you guys probably, if you wanted to take your time on it,
Yeah.
you probably could have because you were still going to make $1 billion.
Well,
But it definitely
that may
felt
not
like
be the case, but
it definitely feels like some of the stuff was more rushed than maybe
sure.
the first go.
Yeah. On one hand, you can say like, look, y'all had $115 million, and this
No,
is
I'm not even
this
saying
is a Star Wars.
the money.
Yeah.
I'm saying
It's
more
the
like
time.
if they could have extended it out, they released it in May, maybe release it in
Yeah.
December,
Nah,
whatever.
They're not going to get a whole marketing cycle up and then miss release
Yeah.
date. That's just too much money is involved. But
Maybe
they could have they could have fixed it.
that seems
After
to be
release,
that
like-
seems to be the norm nowadays.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so what did you? We kind of spoke a little bit on it. What did you like best about the movie?
Yeah. Yeah. The story to me, I think, made sense to like my. I've seen a lot of Star Wars a lot of times. So the story is cohesive to me. I see where it's all coming from and going, and it's really cool to see all that. I will say, you mentioned earlier about how like the runtime is too long, and there's too much going on. I would actually argue the opposite, and the reason I would do that is because
You're crazy.
that's probably also true. I mentioned this, I think, off the recording. I don't know that we mentioned this in the first episode's discussion, but I'm watching versions of these movies that include deleted scenes, and it makes the runtime a little bit longer. The edition that I ended up watching of episode 2 was about 2 hours and 40 minutes. And the scenes, I have to tell you, like in episode 1, all the scenes that were added were like very, I think, justifiably removed. They were kind of silly and just anecdotal, and like they didn't do anything, they didn't change anything about the movie. But I honestly would argue that the deleted scenes in episode 2 are maybe essential in some regard. There are a couple that I would like to just kind of briefly read through. At the very beginning of the movie, there's a deleted scene where Padme is addressing the Senate, giving them an entire rundown of the situation, why some people are arguing for an army and why some people are not. And it's just like, it's this 30-second explainer that I think contextualizes so much of the politics that you see in the rest of the movie. So like, that's one example.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you right there because I still think my point is valid.
Okay.
I just think that this is bad editing.
Sure.
This is bad story building in that way. Because one, if you have to delete scenes, you should be deleting scenes that
Yes.
don't help the story.
Yes.
You know what they could have done is they could have cut down that factory scene
Mm-hmm.
that was just CGI gluttony.
Sure.
It didn't really help the story along. You could have shown the part where the lightsaber gets cut and that R2 saved Padme and then called it a day. Or
Yeah.
you could have sped up how it worked out because when I was talking about how long it was, I thought of this as I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
They have the big pots, the big
Yeah.
colanders, or what are they called?
Cauldrons.
Cauldrons, big old cauldrons, and they're dropping what we would assume is some type of molten metal or
Yeah.
something like that. And they do that like 4 or 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit where they're like, hey, this is really building the tension.
Right.
But it's also like kind of everything's really confusing,
It's so long. Yeah.
but it's also confusing by how they're cutting back to like Anakin and the stuff's moving up and down and you kind of visually don't know where you're at, and then you're getting like sideswiped by C-3PO doing like puns
Yep.
and like
Getting his head on the wrong droid, like that whole,
right,
that whole
and
bit.
then like classic R2D2 jokes and
Right.
where he's making his sounds and really he falls or something, and it's like cut that
Yeah.
so that Padme could give us some exposition that actually helps
Yeah.
build the story. Because
Yeah.
you saying that, I'm like, I would have rather have seen that
Yep.
than some of the other stuff that doesn't necessarily help
Right.
the story.
Yeah. A couple more examples of these, because I think this is fascinating that these got cut. When Obi-Wan goes to the Jedi library to look for Kamino, and it's deleted from the archives, he has a conversation. He walks past a statue of Count Dooku, who of course used to be a Jedi. He has a statue in the library, and
That's called character building.
Exactly.
That's-
so here's the thing: the librarian literally gives Obi-Wan an entire background on Count Dooku. Talks about how he was an idealist like Qui-Gon Jinn. He was so upset by the status quo that he left the Jedi Order, and he turned up years later as leader of the Separatists. Like that 45 seconds is so helpful.
It's foreshadowing, it's exposition, it's you've got a new character to start to ponder upon.
That's right.
There's so much that would have added that is truly missing from the movie.
That's right.
Like it's
I've got another one for you.
someone said it was Cody Johnston, I think, who worked at Cracked, and he did a video on like Zack Snyder or like Batman v Superman. It was one of those things. I'm not sure the context, but I'm pretty sure he was the one who said it. And he was like, if you're making a movie and you delete scenes that impact and move the plot along, you're making a bad movie.
Yeah.
Ultimately, because then you have to go, if someone has to say, no, it's a really good movie, you just have to watch it with these deleted scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's your fault as the writer. That's your fault as the director.
It is.
And hearing you talk about this, I'm just thinking about that movie. I might have a completely different opinion about this movie if it had those couple things in it.
I've got one more, actually. One more to share with you, too.
Is this going to make me yell again?
Probably.
Oh, no.
This is by far the longest deleted scene. It's literally about 8 or 10 minutes. But there's this whole sequence, an entire sequence, where when Padme and Anakin go to Naboo for safety and sanctuary, Padme actually takes Anakin to her family's house. And we meet her dad, her mom, her sister, her younger siblings, and there are like 3 or 4 like really significant conversations that go into Padme's backstory, how she came from like this modest family, never expected to be royalty, just wanted to make a good difference in the world. The mom, and then Anakin and her dad go on a walk in like their garden, and they're talking.
The dad threatens him.
No. It's like just the opposite. The dad's talking about like how good of a guy he is, but also asking Anakin like, be straight with me, kid. Like, is my daughter in danger? And Anakin's like, yes. And then while they're out on the walk, Padme and her mom and her sister, who's older, are all in the house, and they're all talking about like ooh, like this is the first boy you've brought home. Like he's really nice.
Oh.
Like, and there's so much more like. By the way, during this whole sequence, Padme is very dismissive, and Padme's like, he's not my boyfriend. Like, there's that energy.
We are not dating.
Right. But it's like they suggest to Padme, like, your feelings for each other are pretty obvious, you know? And then there's a conversation where.
Why? Why are they obvious? We haven't seen it.
And then the last part of that whole scene is Padme and Anakin are they're packing up again to leave Naboo in Padme's bedroom, and there's like pictures on the wall of just like her childhood and stuff, and she talks about like going on like becoming like a junior legislator and like helping refugee children and like, you know, just like.
Oh, so like character development.
Yeah, you know.
It was character development? That's what happened?
Yeah, that's why it was cut.
Probably. Hey, George, I think these characters are becoming a little too human. Maybe let's cut it out just to keep people on their feet, you know?
We're giving them too much motivation to fall in love.
Man.
Yeah, so like I am so curious.
I would have rather had that than the scene which, well, what did you like least of the film? Or
oh yeah, we can cut to
I'll
that.
talk about that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me
Okay.
answer just what I think I liked best about the movie.
Perfect.
Obi-Wan. I liked his storyline. I liked everything. Like, I don't think I was too. He had to be the straight man in this story where, like, this kid is just getting mad for no reason and isn't listening and everything, and he just kind of has to be like, "Hey, bro, you're working. Like, work.
Yeah,
do what you're supposed to do."
I would agree with that.
Yeah, like he's the voice of reason in this, and then 40% of the movie they're separated.
Obi-Wan, I was just going to say, Obi-Wan is alone for most of this movie.
And that part of the movie is great.
Here's the thing. That's foreshadowing, maybe not intentionally, but that's at least foreshadowing his character for after episode 3 all the way to when Luke is grown up. So, like, there's like a 20-year period where Obi-Wan is literally going to be alone because of Anakin's betrayal. And this is like a foreshadowing of
do you actually think it's Anakin's betrayal, or do you think it's the death of Qui-Gon? And I say that because while the betrayal of Anakin is significant, there is still tension between him and the Council, and there is a bit of like inference in the first one that Qui-Gon taking him on was not looked down upon, but there were some people who were eyebrows were raising because of it. Yeah. So he had someone who believed in him when other people didn't. He had someone who took a risk on him, and then after his death, even though he was training Anakin, there's still a lot of like jokes that come off as jokes, but it really does sound like Obi-Wan is trying his best, but he doesn't necessarily know what he is. We don't talk about it. I forget who talked about it recently, but someone pointed out wasn't it you that talked about when the father figure aspect that Obi-Wan was not a father figure. So it's literally
your brother.
It's literally an older brother adopting a younger brother and raising him. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's just trying his best.
That's right.
But he's super frustrated by Anakin. Anakin does things, and Obi-Wan has already put himself in that position of, like, older brother of like, well, I understand how to do this. Why don't you understand how to do this?
Yeah.
So like there is a disconnect between them. So it seems like when Obi-Wan has the opportunity to do something on his own, he's kind of stoked for it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's okay being the one who works by himself.
Yeah. I can see that.
But you have the first one where he seems to be constantly working with Qui-Gon, and then he's the one who's left behind as Qui-Gon does his missions on his own. And so now Obi-Wan kind of takes that mantle and kind of keeps that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like forever.
He's the master now. He's not the Padawan.
But even so, like this, the next one, the Obi-Wan series that'll be coming out, and A New Hope, he's kind of on the solo mission for the rest of his life after Qui-Gon died.
That's right.
Even though he's training Anakin, there's still this like it's not tension because Obi-Wan doesn't want to, but because he's almost afraid to fully commit to it.
Yeah.
And it's that he feels he should be on his own. And I think that has more to do with Qui-Gon than with Anakin.
Yeah. I can totally see that. Yeah.
We can talk about that more next episode too, because
for sure.
I already started episode 3 and I've already got like where I'm like, all right, this is doing better. And then there's moments where I'm like, no, no. So I think my favorite part is the Obi-Wan storyline. I think if you would have had a movie that was focused on Obi-Wan and not so much the weird love relationship between Anakin and Padme, I would have dove into that a lot better.
Sure.
Now that transitions beautifully into what I liked least about the movie.
Go for it.
Anakin romance.
Yes.
Anakin's romance is jarring. It is so jarring from the get-go. He's like sweating and Obi-Wan's like, haha, why are you having such a moment? He's like that. And then Anakin clearly shows that he hasn't stopped thinking about her. And Obi-Wan kind of like doesn't understand, but it's also like, hey, stay on target. Stay on target. Like Obi-Wan the whole time, I feel like he can see it and I feel like he can feel it, that there's something there, but he's also like, you need to move past that. And I feel like he was hoping that in the elevator, it was just like, this is just a moment.
Yep.
This is just a moment. And then when they actually see her and he is just the worst, like he would have been the guy that if I was a manager at a store and he did that to a customer, I would have been like, buddy, take a couple days off.
Yes.
Think about what you did. Come back and realize when you're on the job, doesn't matter what you feel, you're still on the job. Yep. I'm a teacher. You're a teacher. Because I teach band, this situation happens a lot when like students get in a relationship, and I have to have a talk with the kids who are in band who are in a relationship where I have to say, I don't necessarily care that you are together. Like, I'm happy for you. It's great. In this class and in these events where you're representing this organization, you have to be professional and you have to keep it that way. So I expect you to understand that right now in class and in this band, you're together, but you're not. You have to be able to control yourself in that way. In the same light, I think that was a conversation Anakin needed to have, because Yoda saw it and Yoda was like,
Obi-Wan knows.
Mace Windu saw it and I think he called it out a little bit.
He does.
But
in fact, that's another deleted scene. Obi-Wan talks to Mace Windu. Obi-Wan talks to Mace Windu about Anakin's feelings for Padme, like very, very openly, very directly.
That's, you know what? I think there's a missed opportunity, and I'm noticing it in 3 as well, of Obi-Wan and Mace Windu having like a decent relationship.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like Obi-Wan really respects the council and understands that there's a hierarchy, and whatever issues may be present in the council, like they have fallen astray in a lot of ways, but I think their intentions are still pure. Obi-Wan
Yeah.
respects that, and he respects Mace Windu deeply, and they like missed an opportunity to feature that and to really put emphasis on that, because he just seems kind of like a boss
Sure.
rather than Obi-Wan respecting him and, you know, going to him in that moment, which I think that shows a lot of respect. And I say that because the third one, where he has to talk to Anakin about what the council wants him to do toward the Chancellor, and after that scene, Obi-Wan is with Yoda and Mace Windu, and he says, you know, he didn't really take the news well. So clearly he like uses them as confidants and informs them, but like you don't really get that until the third one. Even though Mace
Yeah.
Windu and Yoda, for that instance, are major characters for 2 whole movies already.
Like 10 years, 13
Yeah.
years by the time you get to episode 3.
Yeah, but
That's more than half of Anakin's life.
yeah, and just I will leave because I could talk about how creepy Anakin is the whole time, but there's one scene I want to highlight as it was bad. It was bad writing. It shouldn't have been in the movie.
I think we have
And
the
it's-
same scene.
Maybe, I don't know. It's the scene where they're first at Naboo and they're on the balcony or something.
Is
And-
it like by the
or-
fireplace?
Is that where it is, where he like touches her shoulders
Yes.
and she's like, this makes me uncomfortable?
I
And
literally have the quote. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go for it.
We can just transition back and forth here. We have the same answer to this question about what we liked least about the movie. So here was my submission. I was just going to read this quote for you. This is from Anakin Skywalker. From the moment I met you all those years ago, not a day has gone by when I haven't thought of you. And now that I'm with you again, I am in agony. The closer I get to you, the worse it gets. The thought of not being with you, I can't breathe. I'm haunted by the kiss that you should never have given me. My heart is beating, hoping that kiss will not become a scar. You are in my very soul, tormenting me. What can I do? I will do anything you ask. If you are suffering as much as I am, please tell me.
That is probably, yeah, that's probably worse.
Oh, that's not what you were thinking of?
No.
Oh.
What I was thinking of was, in a lot of ways, I think he forced himself on Padme. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he manipulated her in a lot of ways. And I guess now that you say that quote and read it in such a way that it's not in the context, like, that sounds even worse than I even remember
He's
it.
blaming her also.
Yeah. What I was talking about was there's the scene where they're on the balcony or something, and maybe he says something to her. Oh, he's looking at her. He's looking.
She says,
at her.
"Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me that
she's
way."
like, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then she walks away, or she looks forward, whatever it is, and the camera stays on Anakin, and he has a maniacal smile, and it's just, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a power move or whatever. It's just like, hey, that's a guy that's about to rape someone.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it like. It's just
it's
it
very
doesn't.
red flaggy. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. There's nothing like good. There's nothing wholesome. There's nothing lovable.
I would put it this way:
if I
there's
saw
nothing
that,
about their relationship that the audience should actually root for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. Now, going back to that quote, he is absolutely blaming her for his feelings.
Yep.
He's blaming her for the kiss that he wanted, that, if anything, he gave to her, not the other way around. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. She's not a Jedi. She doesn't have mind tricks. Mm-hmm. There's no way to say that he wasn't manipulating her in any way, shape, or form to get what he wanted. Sure. There's no way to guarantee that. But no is definitely not the only answer. Like, it's not 100% no. And that enough makes everything he does very suspicious, very sketchy. Weird. And that whole speech, like when he's saying it, he's in his intensity, his intense acting. Mm-hmm. You know what? This makes me think. I think another thing that makes me dislike this movie, I don't think Hayden Christensen is a bad actor. Mm-mm. I think George Lucas, he didn't tell him have an English accent, but he speaks in an English rhythm. He speaks in an English rhythm.
Interesting.
So when he talks, we as Americans, we have a way of speaking where our rhythm flow together, how our words are separated, and there's a difference between how English people separate them and the rhythm that English people may have with it. He speaks with the enunciation of America, but with the rhythm of English, of an
British English,
of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was noticing it because there are moments where he says stuff where I'm like, you're clearly an American person. Well, not because there's space.
Not in
there's
the galaxy,
no America.
Yeah.
But you're an American person who's been in England for like 15 years. Hello, Review Rewinders. This is just a quick correction. This is such a silly correction, but I wanted to make sure I know. Hayden Christensen is Canadian. I think my point is still valid, but he's Canadian. He's not American. Apologies. And you just haven't caught on to that English accent, but you start to talk like them.
Sure.
And it's kind of jarring, and it makes it off-putting almost. Mm-hmm. And so when he says that speech, his rhythm is super weird, and I don't want to blame him necessarily, because at any point George Lucas could have stopped and gone, hey, let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. How about we try it this way? But he went with that version. And it's how he talks is weird to me. Mm-hmm. And I think I had the realization watching the third one when Palpatine says, "Oh, we found Dooku," and Anakin says, "At last." And there's something about someone without a British accent saying "at last" that is super weird, and I didn't really couldn't figure out why.
It's funny, yeah.
And I was just like, because we don't really say at last in the sense of at last, right. We'll suddenly be finally, or at last we have something bigger than that.
Right.
But it was he said it, and I was like, why did that sound weird? That shouldn't sound weird, but that sounded weird. And then I was thinking of him throughout the movie, and I was like, oh yeah, he does kind of talk weird. Why does he talk weird? And I think it's the rhythm. So one of the things I like least, how Hayden Christensen talks.
There you go.
Because he has moments where he's kind of okay, but he also has moments where he's not. Mm-hmm. And I think when he yes, master, of course. Yeah, I could do that too. It's the rhythm is just pretty off.
It's almost dry. It's not dry. It's
drone. It's
Drone,
almost
there
like
it is.
droney. Like
It's
it has
droney.
that like, and he has inflection, but somehow
It's
it just feels
so
like a straight
wavy.
line.
Yeah.
Like he emotes. Like he definitely emotes. He has moments where he's happy. I've noticed this when actors act in a moment of like cheeriness, they typically act the most normal. So like Keanu Reeves, he has his weird way of acting, but when he's in a position where he can actually act happy and kind of be like happy about something, he feels normal. Like it's almost like he takes himself out of that character and is just like, oh, this is human Keanu Reeves. Hayden Christensen did the same thing where in the scenes where he's supposed to be happy, when he's flying and the only person he has to talk to is R2, he seems the most normal. But when he gets in front of a person, depending on the person, he like changes his tone and the way he talks, and it never fits. And maybe that's his character too. Maybe his character is he never knows who he is, so he just tries to go along with the people that he's with. Because he has the Jedis, he has this proper English speaking Obi-Wan, who Ewan McGregor is Scottish? Irish?
I don't even know.
But he's doing an Alec Guinness impression. Like he's channeling Alec Guinness, who's more of a English speaker, British voice. So he has that. He has Mace Windu, who's just kind of stern, and then Yoda, whatever. But like he doesn't know where he fits in it, and it's kind of reflected. And I don't know if that's what George Lucas was trying to do. Feels like a missed point. I don't know. But two things I didn't like: Anakin's love, like way he does it, because nothing is earned. I would love to have seen that scene with Padme's family,
The family,
to see if that kind of tempers that. Because if they would have added that family scene and taken out like half of him hitting on her, maybe it would have made more sense. Maybe it wouldn't have, but maybe it would have.
Sure.
I don't know. So you didn't like that blame game love speech, because that's a bad love poem. Like
that's pretty bad.
that's like George was like, I'm gonna be super Shakespearean here, and then they read it and they were like, George, that's totally Shakespeare.
That's for me, like, this is a bit of a bold statement, but like literally that scene, that paragraph that Anakin says, for me, I think that's the worst part of the whole Skywalker saga. I think that minute for me is the worst.
I will go ahead and say that is the worst of Anakin. I would say that line is worse than anything else Anakin is in, including the little kid. That's worse than Yippee. That's worse than Jar Jar. That's worse than anything. I don't know if it's the worst in the whole Skywalker saga, because they've kind of rewrote some things. But man, it's not good. It's the worst of the three first episodes for sure.
It's bad. You'll have to tell me whenever we get to it in our recording series your worst moment of the saga. Okay. Don't tell me now, but save it and think about it.
I'll save it. Yeah. Was that the thing that stood out the most? Was there anything else that you were like, could have done away with that?
I don't think there was anything else that I particularly hated as much as that. Not even close. There are parts of again where the movie feels kind of slow, and the movie things don't feel super well explained unless you've seen the whole saga.
Watch the deleted
1,000 times,
or watch
watch the deleted scenes. Yeah. But no, nothing to me is as bad as either like the really bad CGI but that is secondary to like the love relationship stuff and that dialogue. Woof.
Yeah, it's bad. It's that, like, if she would have had a recording, she could have taken that to a judge and gotten a restraining order.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Because it's bad. Like, there's nothing good about it.
No, not at all.
Who was your favorite character?
This is a maybe a weird pick. Freaking love Count Dooku, man.
So, I'm glad you say that. Because our last question is usually, where's something you didn't understand about the film? But Chris and I actually have changed that since during this recording. We're way down the line, so we have changed it a while already. So sorry on the last episode. But
it's all good.
One of the things is like plot holes. Like, were there any plot holes that stood out? And I'm actually glad you said Count Dooku, because there's something that he says that I don't understand, and it might be a plot hole.
Okay.
Or it's something that they didn't expand on. So, spoilers, we understand in the third one, or do we understand? Is the end of the second one he appears with Sidious?
That's at the end of episode 2.
Okay, so we understand by the end of this movie that he is with Palpatine. Like, he's whether he's the new Sith or whatever it might be, he is the sidekick, because Sith always travel in two.
Yep. No more, no less.
Because they speak in absolutes, but the Jedis don't, except when they're talking about Sith. Because then they technically are speaking in absolutes. Plot hole. And there's a scene with Count Dooku where he's talking to Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. When Obi-Wan's like imprisoned?
And he tells him the truth.
He does. Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku, tells Obi-Wan the entire truth.
But I feel like they never act on that. And I think they were supposed to. I think there's evidence in the third one that there's clearly something that occurred that gives them information that they are to act on.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't explain it in the movie of like where that came from, and I think it's that conversation, because in the third one they ask Anakin to spy on Palpatine.
That's right.
And he's like, this isn't good. I don't like this. And Obi-Wan is like, this war isn't good. You have to feel it. Do you feel it? Do you feel that something's wrong?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think Obi-Wan is speaking on the point of, I think I believe Count Dooku, but I don't have enough to be definitive about it.
Yeah. What Dooku's doing here is, of course, he's trying to convince Obi-Wan of literally it's the truth, but trying to convince Obi-Wan to turn from the Jedi Council as Dooku did. I think Dooku does something really, no pun intended, but insidious here, where he tells Obi-Wan, I miss Qui-Gon. Like, Qui-Gon was his apprentice, and he believes, as the idealist that he is, that Qui-Gon Jinn would have left the Jedi Order if he were still alive, because of how corrupt Dooku sees that they are. And Dooku is trying to goad Obi-Wan out of the Jedi Order to join him. And then, if the rest of the saga is any indication, probably to try to overthrow Palpatine, and then they become the two.
Yeah. And that's where I think Dooku is an interesting character, because I don't actually think he buys into the dark side as much as he uses it as a tool to gain power.
Yeah.
Physical power. Like,
yes.
I think he believes that.
And political power.
And political power. But I think he uses it like, I think he sees the line as there is no Jedi Order and there is no like Darth Sith
Sure.
organization. There is a a middle place where you can use both light and dark to expand your abilities and expand what you're trying to achieve. Where I almost think his intentions aren't necessarily totally bad. Unless he is fully aware of what Palpatine is trying to do, and he understands that they're using the Federation as a tool to start a war to then get this clone army to essentially become an authoritarian galaxy.
Sure.
If he's like fully aware of that, then I'm probably wrong. But I feel like there's points where
I don't think
Darth Sidious has fully put him into the informational hub.
Which is odd. If that is the case, it's odd because Darth Maul was in the loop on the whole plan.
Well, because you really find yourself in a weird kind of timeline because clearly Dooku is old. He trained Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
He was trained by Yoda.
Yep.
And did the library lady say when he left?
They said it was about 10 years ago. So
that's such a weird
implied
thing that Darth Sidious takes Dooku under his wing 10 years ago. I don't know. Some of it doesn't line up, but maybe
here's why it lines up is Maul is taken out of the picture and Sidious needs a new apprentice.
But do you think it's because he wants to use him as a tool to get Anakin?
Probably eventually, yeah.
Because I know they can see in the future. I wonder if he had that foresight enough to see that. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because the end of Dooku just seems like a means to an end, rather than he was being trained or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dooku's pretty cool. Dooku's pretty cool.
Who is your favorite character of this movie?
Jar Jar Binks.
He has a pivotal role in this movie, and I'm not being ironic.
But it's super forced, and we'll talk about that in a second because I think it ties into the last thing. Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan. He's cool. He does cool things. He seems on the up and up. I like that the council is talking about the arrogance of Anakin, but they're trying to infer there's also arrogance in Obi-Wan, and I'm like, this guy is running everything for you.
Yeah.
And I don't really think he takes a super arrogant perspective on it. I think he's pretty chill about it all. He isn't hey, put me on the council, give me the credit, give me the what. He's just man, raising this kid is hard. He's driving me nuts. And the council's well, there's other people who are pretty arrogant too. It's whoa, that's not helpful, buddies. Come on. But I think Obi-Wan is rad. I like Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I'll add too about Obi-Wan, just a quick note. Episode 2 has the best Obi-Wan hair by far. You got the long blonde locks.
Yeah, he's very pretty.
Yeah.
And so, any plot holes or anything you didn't understand, and coming back to it, I just think how people interacted with Palpatine, and when Palpatine tried to slip into, he slips into modes of Darth Sidious while he's in Palpatine mode, and it's really obvious, and it's real. Like we talked about it last episode, where he's very operatic in how he acts.
Yeah.
And so that scene where Jar Jar kind of takes over and does something big, he's manipulated by Palpatine, and
Yeah.
it bugged me when I watched it, because they're talking about it and they're like, well, we need someone to give you, Supreme Chancellor powers and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Palpatine notices Jar Jar in the room, and he goes, "Oh, if only Senator Padme was here." Like, he says it in a way that's like, if only I had $20 to buy this thing I really want. And then Jar Jar's looking as well, is like,
okay,
why have $20? Maybe I should give him $20. I think I'm going to give him $20. Like, he's super manipulative, but then his interaction with Anakin bugs the crap out of me. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing natural about it. It always falls into this weird, awkward thing where, like, he's given up his cards, and the fact that Anakin doesn't notice it is suspension of too much disbelief. Like, there's too much suspension of belief.
Yep.
So there's too much suspension whenever he talks about it, whenever he, like, tries to motivate something in the way that leads to, like, his perspective. He lays on his, like, Darth side too thick. Like, he gets a maniacal stare. His voice changes ever so slightly. Like, he changes his voice, and there's nothing natural about it. And more so, every time it happens, no one notices. Like, there's no one in the room that's just like, hey, did you guys ever notice that when he is trying to, like, get his way, he starts talking really weird? And we're going to talk about that more in the third one, but, like,
a lot more.
It just doesn't make any sense, and I think it's a big plot hole. Like, I think he does it. I think George Lucas does it to move the plot along and to be like, clearly this man is the bad guy, but there's no nuance in it. There's none whatsoever.
Really none at all. It's pretty obvious watching, even from episode 1. You don't even need all the junk in episode 2 that happens with Palpatine, but Palpatine is very deliberately established as the bad guy.
It's like he's the Joker in, like, with the, like, regular skin makeup, but you can still see the scars.
Sure.
And he's still talking in his normal voice, but he's like, what do you want to vote on? You want to vote on my scars? Like, it's just too obvious. And they don't resolve it in the movie at all.
Right.
No one ever goes, you were Darth Sidious. I knew it. I felt it. I knew it. It was just like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
Not to mention all of the Jedi that can't sense his presence, right? Like,
that's wild.
Like, maybe
Palpatine
has the power to mask that or something, but
that's either saying he's so powerful he can mask it, but the fact that he, like, slips and says his true intentions in front of everyone just seems so weird. It just seems awkward. The other kind of, I don't know if it's a plot hole. I know that the Jedi need help at the end of the movie. They're outgunned. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think it makes sense why Yoda brings the clones.
Yeah.
It ends up being epic and all of that, but everyone comes out with, why do we have these things? who started them. And then
yeah.
he goes there. He goes to what's their planet? What's their little
Camino?
Camino. He goes to Camino. We know nothing of the conversations. We know nothing. He just appears with an army. And they just automatically are following everyone the right way.
Yeah.
And I know they're clones, and I know they're supposed
sketchy.
to be good soldiers, but it feels very conflicting to the Jedi Order and the Jedi Council as a whole.
So, I 100% agree here. How can they have so many planets in the Republic, thousands, I think, of planets, at least hundreds, and they don't have any military capacity
or established? Yeah, like
they don't have any standing armies anywhere.
Yeah.
Or
Or like some type of treaty with the planets, like a UN situation. Where
a NATO or something.
Each planet agrees to help and protect everyone else.
Right.
It doesn't exist. That's a really good point.
Because like you have, especially during the Clone Wars TV show, I think this is new. This is a new thought for me, but I think this is my new biggest plot hole is this idea of like, you watch the Clone Wars TV show and like, yeah, these individual planets have like local generals and, troops and stuff like that. And then they're kind of getting, aided by the clones. But why couldn't they have just fought like for themselves? And
the Wookiees did.
That's true. The Wookiees did.
The Wookiees are the only ones that are shown in the Star Wars universe to hold their own.
Yeah. For a time, at least, until the Empire comes around. But it's an interesting point. Is there's so much manpower around the galaxy, and no one is willing to, or no one is being asked to take up arms. Same thing, for what it's worth, in the Separatists. They have to build a bunch of droids.
Also, these planets make no freaking sense. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but like you have the planet they're on at the end. Which one is that?
Geonosis, the orange one?
Yeah.
And Geonosis.
All the sentient animals are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you see, and then you have robots, and then you have beasts of different type, but you have those kind of weird bug-looking things.
Like the insect-looking, the Geonosians.
And then you have other planets where it just at least what you see is just one alien type.
Right.
And then you have Tatooine that has a bunch of different species because it's a...
it's a port. It's a
port. That makes
port.
sense. But even so, planetary-wise, it doesn't make sense that like one species would be... to the extent that it is.
Right.
It's just kind of funny.
Totally.
Like,
it's
why is this?
That's a critique I've heard of Star Wars, like planet design as a whole, which is to say, like, if you just look at Earth, and you can pick out plenty of spaces where you can just chop out like a couple 100 miles of Earth, and you'll have ocean and desert and forest and mountain. Like, but every single planet in Star Wars is like a fill in the blank.
It's monolithic.
Planet. Yeah. It's like this is a desert planet or a forest planet or an ocean planet or I think it's a fair criticism.
Yeah, it's weird.
Keeps it simple though, I guess. Like
maybe. Except all the sleep I'll be missing out on. Well, now it's time for the review rewind. We look at critic reviews of when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph will read a positive review. I will read a negative review. And we'll see where we fall in the spectrum.
Awesome.
Joseph,
yeah, so this positive review is from the Chicago Tribune. It gave it a score of 100. Wow. 100. A perfect movie, according to the Chicago Tribune.
I wonder how much they got paid.
They wrote this. This is just a little blurb. Attack of the Clones celebrates a certain youthful spirit in both movie making and movie watching because it's as much phenomenon as movie. Audiences will either ride with or reject it, but I was happy to take the ride.
Well,
At least they acknowledge,
Yeah.
right? They acknowledge that
which feels like they should temper their grading
right?
a little bit.
That's a good point.
The negative critique is the Wall Street Journal gave it a 30. For all its video game bedazzlements, Attack of the Clones suffers from severe digital glut, periodically relieved, if you can call it that, by amateur theatrics. Man, that's both. I disagree with both of them. I don't know if it's amateur theatrics because there are a lot of like solid storytelling and even like some pretty good visuals.
Right.
Like this again, the spaceship scenes, they look super good.
Yeah. Here's my biggest disagreement with these reviews is from the negative review. They wrote for all of its video game bedazzlements, but this is written in 2002, and like 2002 video games were not quite bedazzling. You're like 6 or 7 years into like the 3D era, and you're still on the PlayStation 1 and the N64. I mean, cool, but this PS, this whole thing is a bit of a joke. I don't terribly disagree with either of these reviews, to be honest. I mean, they're just different perspectives on it, and I can see where both of the authors are coming from. I think I would lean more towards the negative review here.
Oh,
not necessarily
I think the digital
in my
glut
personal
is,
feelings. Yeah, the
I
digital
think the
glut.
digital
though,
glut is accurate.
yeah, that's what I'm resonating with here.
Yeah. And I do think it is a ride. No, I think we're getting to a position where people can kind of watch it and go, it's not great, but it has its moments.
Yeah.
It has its moments in the sun. So I won't fully reject the film, but I'm making it lose some points for sure.
Sure.
How are you going to rate it? What grade are you giving it?
Well, let me first say, just as a recap, for The Phantom Menace, I believe you gave it a C-. Is that right?
No.
No?
Did I?
Was it a D?
I think
don't
I gave
remember.
it a B minus.
Oh, I mean, you're totally right. Yeah, you gave it a B-.
You gave it a lower grade. Didn't you
I
give
did.
it a lower grade than me?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I gave The Phantom Menace a C. I'm keeping track of these from now on. I gave The Phantom Menace a C+, and we talked about I talked about last time about how I wanted to give it the whole saga a bit of a broader, area to fall on. So I gave The Phantom Menace a C+. I am giving Attack of the Clones a solid C. So it's below it's below The Phantom Menace, but not by a whole bunch.
I am going to give it a D.
D. Wow.
And D is for diplomas. And it is technically a passing grade because these are not weighted classes. But I give it the technically passing grade because there are some moments that are solid. But I just think that the things that are bad take too much away from it. And it could have been such a good movie without a bunch of the stuff. And I think it's too much stuff needs to be taken out to make it a good movie, or too much needs to be added to make it a good movie.
Yeah. I
Standalone,
sincerely... Go ahead.
Yeah. Standalone to me, it's like it deserves to pass the class. But I'm not going to give it a lot of positive reinforcement.
Sure.
My
Yeah. I think you'll know what I'm about to say given this context of grading it and stuff, and our grades being a bit different. In fact, a full letter grade different. I wonder sincerely how differently you would feel about the movie and enjoy the movie with the deleted scenes that I just consider canon at this point.
I would probably, because you're looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah,
you're looking at it
true.
from that context.
Yeah.
I am looking at it like I was going to use Batman v Superman as an example, but ultimately both are rubbish.
Sure.
But, I'm missing a ton of context that was not put into it. Disney Plus decided not to.
Sure.
But I'd probably say that if I had seen those deleted scenes in context of the movie, not separated, but in context of the movie timeline, edited into the movies, I'm sure I would have given it a C as well.
Yeah.
But those are missing from my context. Those are missing from my final draft.
Those are missing from 99% of viewers' final drafts and grades, because they cut them. That was intentional.
I'm sure everyone is wondering, and yes, this is a critically panned movie.
Yes.
I think it has like a 60-something overall critic grade, like when they average out the critics. It's not great. And so...
Yeah, 65 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
54 on Metacritic.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't know if I would go into the 50s for it, because it does have a lot of solid stuff, and I'll watch it again. Mm-hmm. And not because it's one of those, this isn't Fast and the Furious for me, where I have to watch the first one out of, hey, it's the beginning of the story. It's objectively a bad movie, but it's the beginning of the story, so I'm going to watch it. But I think there's good that comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the scope of, if I'm going to give it a grade, there's not enough to put it into that place of, average. I think it's a below average film.
Sure.
And I think D kind of leaves it in that place.
Yeah.
It would still pass, but there we go.
Love it.
All righty. Well, Joseph, we're going to keep doing this, but
sure.
Is there anything you would like to plug this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I'm going to continue to plug my Star Wars podcast. It is called Destroy the Shield Generator, and we're on hiatus right now, but I'm sure we'll come back eventually. But there's a good archive of 24 episodes where a friend and I talk about funny stuff that occurs in the Star Wars universe from a pretty candid perspective. The typical examples I always throw out are what if Chewbacca spoke English? How would that change?
He would sound like he was
saga.
New York. He was from New York.
From New York?
Yeah.
Chewbacca with a New York accent, though.
Hey, Han Solo, what are you doing today? Hey.
Oh, gosh, no. So anyway, that's Destroy the Shield Generator. That's my other Star Wars podcast. Ton of fun.
Wonderful. Well, don't forget to subscribe to Joseph's podcast. Also subscribe to ours. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, Review Rewind or Review Rewind Pod. Feel free to share, like, and rate. Give us a good rating. If you don't like this show, just keep it to yourself. And until next time, you just keep... dang it. We still don't have a thing. Review your... no, because I always get it... No, rewind your... Rewind your... no, review your... I got to do this someday. I don't know. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.